in order. I have the agenda here. So the first item is a public hearing on the contract agreement between the Village of Sloatsburg and the Town of Ramapo regarding the Johnsontown Road Fire Protection District for the year 2016.
We have affidavits of posting and publication, so the public hearing may be opened.
Anybody in the public would like to speak on this issue?
Move to close.
Motion to close the public hearing by Councilwoman Logan Charles, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next public hearing is a public hearing on the contract between the Village of Spring Valley and the town. Actually, why don't we vote on that one, Michael, on Johnsontown Road, right?
Yes, we should.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next public hearing is a public hearing for the contract between the Village of Spring Valley and the Town of Ramapo regarding the Park Crest Fire Protection District for the year 2016.
Once again, we have affidavits of publication and the posting, so the public hearing may be opened.
Move to close.
Anybody in the public like to speak? Motion to close the public hearing by Councilman Friedman, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. On the main motion, moved by Councilman Friedman, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next item on the public hearing is a contract between the Village of Hillburn, the Town of Ramapo regarding the Ramapo Fire Protection District Number 1 for the year 2016.
We can open the public hearing as we've received affidavits of publication and posting.
Okay. Anybody like to speak on this? Motion to close the public hearing by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item, we'll hold off on voting on that for the moment. The next item is a public hearing for the contract between the Village of Sloatsburg and the Town of Ramapo for Fire Protection Number 2 for the year 2016.
Once again, we've received affidavits of publication and posting, so the prerequisites for the hearing have been established, and the hearing may be opened.
Anyone like to speak on this?
Motion to close.
Motion to close the public hearing by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. We'll hold off on the main motion on that until we do motion on public hearing on the contract between the Village of Sloatsburg and the Town of Ramapo regarding Fire Protection Number 3 for the year 2016.
That's the subject of our next motion. Again, we've received affidavits of publication and posting, and the public hearing may be opened.
Anybody like to speak on that?
Motion to close.
Motion closed by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. The next motion will be to accept the contract for $278,000 for Sloatsburg to do the Fire Protection Districts 2 and 3. Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item is a public hearing on a contract for Fire Protection 4 between the Town of Ramapo and the Molston Fire District.
Mr. Supervisor, can I stop you for a minute now? I'm sorry, that last resolution adopted it for Fire Protection District number
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Correct.
Okay,
For
thank you.
Sloatsburg. That's what they'll cover. This next is for the Fire Protection District for Molston Fire District.
Yes, again, we can open a public hearing. We've received the affidavits of publication and posting, so the prerequisites are satisfied.
Okay. Anyone like to speak on this? Motion to close the public hearing by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The main motion for a contract for $20,000 for Molson to cover the Fire Protection District Number 4. Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. And our last public hearing is a public hearing, a contract between the Village of Hillburn and the Town of Ramapo regarding the Ramapo Fire Protection District Number 5.
Finally, again, we have the affidavits of publication and posting, and the public hearing may now be opened.
Anybody that would like to speak on this issue?
Motion to close.
Motion to close the hearing. the public hearing by Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. So the next motion on the main motion is to award the contract for Fire Protection Districts 1 and 5 to the Village of Sloatsburg for a total of 100, Village of Hilburn, correct, for a total of $144,525. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is our town attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. We have a number of agreements for approval this evening. The first is related to the Ramapo Youth Court. We're receiving funding from the County of Rockland, and this resolution authorizes an agreement between the town and the County of Rockland.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next resolution adopts those amounts that were placed in the 2016 budget for not-for-profit agencies.
Moved by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
Each year, we adopt a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Ramapo Housing Authority and the town of Ramapo by which our building department conducts 500 Section 8 housing inspections for the authority.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
The Rockland Paramedic Services has asked that their current lease with the town of Ramapo for the building next to Town Hall be continued for another year. This does so under the same terms and conditions.
Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
We next go to the Highway Maintenance and Snow Removal Services Resolution, that's A6. This authorizes contracts between the town and the villages of Chestnut Ridge, Pomona, New Hempstead, Wesley Hills, Kaiser, Montebello, and New Square for highway maintenance and snow removal services.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
We've received a request once again by the Village of New Hempstead for a contract by which we will provide building and zoning services. This resolution authorizes that agreement.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
We've also received a request from the Village of Montebello to continue the services for building inspection services for the year 2016. This resolution authorizes a contract to do so.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Various not-for-profit agencies and local municipalities have requested once again to participate using the town's fueling facilities. This resolution continues those agreements for 2016.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The villages of Pomona, Chestnut Ridge, Kaiser, Sloatsburg, Hilburn, and Airmont have requested that the town once again provide door control services. This resolution will continue this for the year of 2016.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
That should be approved with a correction in the first whereas clause. 2015 should be 2016.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We have,
Mr. Supervisor, did I, I'm sorry, 1A5, Fire Inspection Services, Chestnut Ridge, did we?
that's tabled.
it was-
Table.
Yeah,
Okay,
we did
thank
not.
you.
B1 on the agenda is a resolution extending the current contract for garbage and recycling services by Interstate Waste Services, Inc. for a 3-month period through March 31st, 2016.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next resolution is an extension of an existing agreement with Ameriflex, which provides flexible spending account and dependent care flexible spending account services to Town of Ramapo employees.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
We have one tax certiorari settlement. This is a professional office. The owner of the property is Carmitel Enterprises, Inc., on Main Street. This is based on an appraisal and settles tax years 2011 through 2016 with a total town tax refund of $184.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
To resolve a title issue that has come up incident to the Park Gardens proposed development, the developer has requested to buy whatever rights the town may have in certain paper streets in the area. This resolution will surplus the property to whatever extent the town has rights in it, and the purchase price to be paid will be $78,000. So that's the nature of this resolution. It's questionable what rights the town has, but due to conflicting title reports, this will resolve those title issues.
And we'll give them clear title then. And the price is $78,000.
That's correct.
All right, moved by Charles, Councilwoman Charles.
What number are we on?
Number D,
D?
1D.
Okay. Okay, that's right, yes.
I'm sorry, Michael, just
Sure.
explain that again?
Summit Ave is right up there. It's actually by Spring Valley High School.
Okay.
It's right on the border of Spring Valley, and the person who owns the property, one of their title searches showed an old paper street. We have not even been able to determine if we have any rights to the paper street. One title company said we didn't, one title company said they did. The owner of the property, in order to make sure that he has clear title, is willing to pay for us to surplus that possible ownership of that paper street and pay $78,000.
That's a correct description.
And no liens or judgments against it or anything like that would harm,
No, we're basically giving a quitclaim deed which says we're not representing what type of title we have, but to the extent that we have any interest in it, it's now yours.
and any harm is left, is
Yeah,
left
so
us.
that's correct. We're making no representations, there's no liabilities that would arise to the town.
I will second.
And a second, moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next item on the agenda is a settlement of a tax case brought by Oakwood Housing LLC. This situation involved a pilot agreement that existed for many years. The property was exempt from taxation. The pilot agreement expired, but there was a small gap in the reapplication for the pilot agreement. And that gap occurred over the taxable status date. So the property was then returned to the tax roll. It is our recommendation that we settle this tax case and restore the pilot agreement and the exemption. The use has remained identical for decades, and we believe that they are equitably entitled to the exemption, if not legally entitled, and this would resolve the 1 year in question.
Okay.
And does this have to go up to the state representatives?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
1F on the agenda is a resolution simply correcting the name in a prior resolution. It listed the name as Moses Friedman when it should said Moses Friedman as president. So that's the nature of the correction of the resolution.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next resolution is in response to a notice that the town board received from the New York State Thruway Authority, which has circulated an indication that it intends to become the lead agency on the Pilgrim Pipeline project. A portion of that goes through the town of Ramapo. The board can simply do nothing and let that go through, or the board could adopt a recommendation of a number of environmental groups which suggests that the town indicate its preference that the Department of Environmental Conservation would be the more appropriate agency to conduct a SEQA evaluation. So we have before you a resolution which states just that. that it's the town board's recommendation that the lead agency on the Pilgrim Pipeline project be the New York State DEC rather than the Thruway Authority.
Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
And finally, we have a resolution which accepts for dedication 2 streets incident to a subdivision. These would be Bluefield Drive and Widman Court.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles.
On the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Let me take a second. Second by Deputy Supervisor Withers.
Right.
And on the motion, Councilwoman Charles.
Just as a review, we wanted to ensure that the dedication is properly done, but there was a staircase that was in question as a right-of-way. That staircase, or as it is right now, needs to be completed. The safety aspect of it will be reviewed by Tony Malia, and the town board, of course, will agree to it to remain where it is. It's already there, but our building chief needs to ensure that the staircase
Meets the code.
meets the codes and is up to the safety code. If there is an issue, if our building chief, Tony Malian, has any suggestions to improve the staircase for the safety of the residents, we'd like for Tony to consult on that and ensure that that's done properly. I have no other problems. As long as that's done, then I would agree that the town board would give the road dedication.
Okay. So we have a mover and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the personnel, the authorization for an employee to take a leave of absence without pay in the assessor's office. This is a person that was just hired, and they already had plans for this time to be taken off, so this will give that person a leave of absence without pay for that period of time. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item is purchasing, and our Director of Purchasing is here, Mona Montel.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Town Board. I'm asking you to reject the bid for the purchase of building materials and supplies, as we only had one bidder, and we believe we can get more solicited bids if we rebid this.
Okay, so motion by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is on the DPW, the installation of a pump station on 13 Mile Road, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. I know Deputy Supervisor went out there. Did you want to say anything on that?
No, it's just
Okay.
the supervisor, the homeowner was very pleased with your quick response. It's a home that they bought from the Mulderick family, a family that's well known to the area, and it's an older home, and they put a lot of money into it, and then shortly after they did, the pump failed, their septic system failed, and they were very pleased with your quick response to actually to be better environmental, to tie it into the sewer system. They're very thankful.
Great. We have a mover and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of the 2016 marriage officers, moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
There's one new business item. Mr. Supervisor, this item came in earlier this week. We received a request from the...
Oh, I think this is fantastic that we are going to be able to take the ownership of these, right? Is that what? Oh, go ahead.
It's, we received a request from Leonard Jackson Associates, who have asked, and in conjunction with the town's Department of Public Works, that the sewer system and the pump stations that are designed on the Patrick Farm proposed subdivision be dedicated to the town. Again, this was reviewed both in the design and by this request by Mr. Zarenko's office, and he recommends that the town agree to accept dedication if and when the site plans are finally approved by the planning board.
Well, I think it's fantastic, the DPW, that we're having them have 2 pump stations, which makes it more efficient, and that after they build them and they go through the expense of building them, then they will be dedicated to the town, and the town will take ownership of them, which is the way that we would prefer it. So I'm glad you worked that out, Council.
And there is one issue that Councilman Ullman, who was not here, asked that I include for discussion, and I believe Mr. Withers did as well. It was not the request of Mr. Jackson's office or by the Department of Public Works that this be conditioned other than by the completion of the sewer lines and the pump stations to the approval of the Department of Public Works and subject to planning board approval of the subdivision and site plans. There was a question raised as to whether or not, if there were sewer backups in the future, whether the town would assume responsibility as we do for the rest of our sewer system, or whether that would be the responsibility of the owners of the volunteer housing and the condominium association. I prepared that both ways, so the board has to indicate which it would like to adopt.
I think we should adopt the language that Deputy Supervisor Withers and Councilman Ullman had put in there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep. Okay, so as that is adopted, motion on that, we have a mover.
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next, we do have one other item, and that is to move Juan Pablo Ramirez, who is an alternate on the planning board, onto the planning board, replacing Dora Green. Motion by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Dora Green's term expired in 2015 in July, and she was a holdover, and I will call her and speak to her and thank her for the work that she's done for the town, and we'll send her a letter and thanking her for the service that she provided. And we also have a, did we vote on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then a motion for Mr. DeHaan to fill the alternate position that is vacated by Mr. Ramirez, moved by Councilwoman Charles, moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. And then a motion in the zoning
I'm
board.
sorry, who's filling that position?
Mr. DeHaan, I'll give you his
DeHaan,
bio.
okay.
And then a motion on the zoning board, we have a spot available with Efren Shapiro, and we want to move our alternate Jacob Lefkowitz up to take Mr. Shapiro's spot. Moved by?
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Michael, Council, do you have any other new business?
No, that's all.
Okay.
Motion to close?
Well, we have public participation. Motion for open up public participation. Right up.
Just before we go
Yeah.
there, can I just bring up something on new business real
Sure.
quick? We're in receipt of a letter from our superintendent of highways. There's an island on Bates Road. Would the board mind if we gave them permission to take out that island? There's no real need for there. It's actually just a curbing with some grass in the middle, but for the fire trucks and actually for plow trucks and anything, like it's really a narrow spot there that the fire trucks don't.
I agree. We just were in receipt of a report from our traffic specialist and also for our police department. And so if we want to make that into a formal motion to remove the island, we could do that.
Thanks.
Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. That's to remove the island at the Bates and Horton intersection by Jerusalem Shopping Center.
And Mr. Supervisor, just one more time, we replaced Shapiro with whom on the zoning board?
Jacob Lefkowitz.
Jacob Left. Thank you.
He was an alternate, and we're moving him up into fill that position.
It's Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. Just a couple of things that tonight I'd like to bring to the attention of the supervisor and the town board. First, I noticed the town clock by the Finkelstein Library. It has the wrong time on it, or it's not working, one or the other.
We're waiting parts on that.
Okay, one with that. Also, the town put up a number of decorative streetlights on Maple Avenue in Muncie, and if you go by there at night, quite a few of them are out and don't work anymore. I just wanted to let the board know about that, so possibly we could have them fixed so that they work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanowski. Anybody else in the public participation? Motion to close public participation, Councilman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. I want to thank Councilman Friedman for his service to the town board over these 4 years, or 5 years, actually. And I also want to tell you that you sang eloquently this evening.
Thank you.
And I know we'll have another meeting at the end of the year, but I want to thank you for your service, and I know that you have expressed interest in continuing to do service here in the town of Ramapo, and we'll continue that conversation.
Thank you.
All right.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
And it's been a great honor to serve here in this position and to work with all the people in this town board and all the people in the town. And I'm not going very far, and I look forward to continuing that.
And we look forward to hearing you sing again.
Ramapo's Got Talent.
That's it.
Oh,
It was really very, very well done. Okay, a motion to...
Can
yes.
we adjourn for, shall we?
Yes, yes. We're going to adjourn tonight's board meeting, the entire board, in honor of Sheldon Goldstein, who passed away on Friday evening. So we will adjourn in his honor and send notice to his family that we've done that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We'll do them in
Yeah, we're going to do them at our January meeting. Yeah. I mean, not January, the meeting at the end of the year.